took power in that country at one of the most critical periods in its recent history. He had been vice president to the country's very long-serving President Suharto, and afterwards, after Suharto's resignation, it fell to Mr. Habibie to take the reins of the world's largest Muslim country amid a period of tremendous uncertainty and unrest. A year later, President Habibie peacefully handed power to Abdul Rahman Wahid, a Muslim thinker and activist, completing in that act a democratic transition that has proven remarkably durable. So I study the Middle East, and I've always said that Indonesia is one of the world's most improbable democracies. It's not the kind of place where we expect democracy to endure and survive and indeed thrive. It is, for example, a very poor country. Right? So its level of per capita income is actually it's lower than the kind of magic level of per capita income that we think you need in order for democracy to survive, and yet Indonesia is a democracy. It is ethnically heterogeneous, constantly under the pull of centrifugal forces that could threaten to pull it apart, and that in fact have pulled apart many other kinds of countries, and yet Indonesia has remained whole. And of course, if I may say so impolitically, it's a majority Muslim country. I can say this as a Muslim. Countries full of my co-religionists have not tended to be democracies for very long, and yet Indonesia is one of the world's few Muslim majority countries that are democratic. So despite all of these things that we would think are going against it, Indonesia is a democracy. And so we ask ourselves, how did this come about? And it's a question of more than just historical importance. It's a question of a great deal of urgency, particularly to people like me who study the Arab world, which many people think is undergoing the same kind of process that Indonesia went through 16 years ago. And so there's a great deal, I think, to be gained from examining the Indonesian experience. What are the secrets of the country's democratic success? What did they do right in those tender months after Suharto's overthrow? And what, if anything, can be mimicked elsewhere? And so to answer these questions, we are extremely lucky to have with us one of the few people on this planet with first-hand experience crafting a democratic transition. President Habibie's official biography, if you've had a chance to read it, describes him currently as an advisor on the democratization of Indonesia. And I guess my only amendment to that is that his advice, his role of advisor, should probably extend far beyond Indonesia's borders. So with that, I will turn it over to President Habibie. We'll speak for about a half hour, and then hopefully we'll have some time for a robust question and answer period. Mr. President.
First of all, I'd like to apologize that I'm late. I thought it seems like it's even worse than Jakarta. But I was informed that it's only during this time that people, maybe they go home from working and it's very crowded. So I'd like to apologize. I see some Indonesian student, so selamat malam, saya akan berbahasa Inggris ya. Walaupun bahasa Inggris saya tidak begitu baik seperti Anda, bahasa Jerman boleh. Spreche Deutsch, wenn Sie wollen. Sprechen Sie Deutsch? Sind Sie Deutsche? Oh, gut. Wir können darüber unterhalten. So. It is almost impossible and misleading to describe Indonesian reformation by just observing and analyzing the happenings in the last 3 decades, without referring to the almost 7 decades of changes that had occurred since the declaration of independence of the unitary state of the Republic of Indonesia, or Negara Kesatuan Republik Indonesia, on the 17th of August 1945. Let me give you some information as a brief overview of my role in the recent Indonesian historical evolution. I don't like to talk about revolution. Revolution is unpredictable, high risk and high cost. What you should do is an accelerated evolution. That means every step you are doing, you should be aware that you are going to make decisions, which are most of them irreversible. Not only irreversible, but unpredictable. We can talk about that and discuss if you want. The historical background first. The Indonesian Revolution between 1945 and 63. Why 63? 63, Irian Jaya was implemented into the Republic of Indonesia. And so we have to, from the first day we make the proclamation of Indonesia. It was for the former Nederlands Indian. Nederlands Indian was the former colony of the Netherlands. So as long as we did not get the whole area, the revolution was not ended. So that's why, as the whole Republic of Indonesia, including Irian Jaya, Nor Guinea, was implemented in the Republic of Indonesia, and the whole world, they become a member of the Republic of Indonesia in the United Nations. So that was in 1963. That's why the revolution of Indonesia is 1945 until 1963. Was inspired by two revolutions. First, the 26-year American Revolution. It started in 1763 until 1989. That means in 63, the British colonial master started to reform their colonies in North America until 1989, when the first president of the United States of America, George Washington, was sworn in. This 26 years American Revolution experience was known by the Indonesian leaders. And we learn a lot. The best is you learn from your experience, from your mistakes. But it's better to learn from other mistakes. Others who make mistakes. The second revolution is the 10-year French Revolution, from 1789 until 1799. I was trying to explain more into the detail, but it will take too much time. You can do it. You are here in the campus, so you can go deeper, and you know better than me. These two revolutions inspired the diverse community of the more than 300 ethnic groups who for centuries have lived peacefully in the only maritime continent of the world to form a new nation state based on an inclusive national ideology known as Pancasila and a motto of Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, the unity in diversity. Pancasila consists of two old Japanese words, originally from Sanskrit, Pancha meaning five, and Sila meaning principles. It comprises 5 principles that are inseparable and interrelated. First, belief in the divinity of God, ketuhanan yang Maha Esa. Second, a just and civilized humanity, kemanusiaan yang adil dan beradab. Third, the unity of Indonesia, persatuan Indonesia. Fourth, democracy guided by the inner wisdom in the unanimity arising out of deliberations among representatives. Kerakyatan yang dipimpin oleh hikmah kebijaksanaan dalam permusyawaratan dan perwakilan. Social justice for all of the people of Indonesia. Keadilan sosial bagi seluruh rakyat Indonesia. Soekarno formally introduced Pancasila on the 1st of June 1945 as an ideology compromise between those that wanted to establish an Islamic state and those that wished for a strictly secular state. While Indonesia is the world's largest Muslim majority nation, that are also sizable other religious minorities. The amount of Muslims in Indonesia, they are more than the whole Middle East. You should know that. There are over 200 million Muslims there. It's a population of 250 million, and 87% are, in this case, Muslim. With Pancasila as its national ideology, the Indonesian state attaches great importance to religion while respecting religious freedom and pluralism. The consequence of that is, if you are an atheist, you can never become a president of the Republic of Indonesia. You could be a Buddhist, Hindu, Christian, as long as you believe in God. Then you, if the people want it, they elect it, then you should leave the country. That's in our constitution. Until today, we did not change our constitution. That means, from the first day of our proclamation, our constitution is compatible with the ideas of human rights, compatible with democracy. And even that the majority of the people are Muslim, that means Muslim Islam is compatible with democracy. Sukarno was president for 22 years, from 1945 until 1967. And Suharto was president for 31 years, from 1967 until 1998. I was asked to join the government of Indonesia in 1974 to become advisor of the President for Advanced Technology and Aeronautical Science in a position that I had held until 1978. That's a long story, why they have asked me to come. You know, I was asked to come to Indonesia by President Suharto. At that time, I was Executive Vice President of Messerschmitt Wilkenbloh, the biggest aerospace company of Europe and Germany. It's a merge of 3 companies. Commercial airplane, I came from the commercial airplane, it's become Airbus. I was one of the gentlemen who designed the Airbus. And one comes from Messerschmitt, they are the fighters. They make multi-role combat aircraft. And the third is Wilco, Ludwig Wilco. And he make helicopter, missile, weapons, satellite. The German industry was forced to merge, become one. Because there are too many. It was forced by the German government. That was Strauss at that time. He passed away. And Mr. Strauss forced. So those three suddenly become of many companies, only three. Messerschmitt, Bölkow Blohm, VW Fokker, and Dornier. So, emerging, the smallest of Messerschmitt, Bölkow Blohm is Blohm. It's a commercial airplane. It's only 3,000 people. I was with them. I was executive vice president and director for technology, development and application. So they make a fit and proper test because somebody has to lead the whole thing. And then you may, because we have to change that. So they take fit and proper Mr. Bölkow from the helicopter, he became the chief of the whole company, but also the chief executive officer of the helicopter and missiles and so on at the time. And the same thing they make also from loan. So they make also in the finance as also in the science and technology. There being technology development and application. I was lucky. I was chosen through fit and proper to be in the holding, but also in the small company. This is the smallest, 3,000. Now it's bigger. They call Airbus. Now the whole company went first from Messerschmitt, Bölkow Blohm, and then DASA, Deutsche Aerospace, and then EADS, and then Airbus. Now you have Airbus fighters, Airbus helicopter, Airbus missile. And the company where I came from, the Airbus, is still there. It's only bigger. As I was there, as I left there, there was already maybe 6,000 people. Now there are 16,000, 1/6. It's big for European size in one spot. But they're all together, I think, maybe 40,000. So, I have to tell you that. That is my background. I had that position. So suddenly I was called back by President Suharto. And that you should know. As I came in, it's amazing. He told me, Dr. Habibi, we have decided that you are going to prepare Indonesia to enter the next millennium. You know, that is 26 years later. It was 1974. I was saying, Mr. President, why me? There are much better people. I can only make airplane. And maybe I understand about the other. But my background is a bachelor, master, PhD, and professor in making airplane. I cannot make more. You know what he answered? If you can make airplane, you can make everything. And then I told him, hey, Mr. President, if you want me to do that, I need money. For what? I have to educate people. I need a wind tunnel, material. I need a laboratory. I need a lot of money. Do you have that money? You know what his answer was? Yeah, we are lucky. We have no OPEC. And we have a windfall. Every week, the price of oil increased. So I promise you, you get it. So that was the first thing. then he said, okay, that's it. You can make that. You can make others. Why do you make the others not for me? What? The whole industrialization of Indonesia. Transform it. So it started all. I make notes here. But I'm not going to tell you about that. I want to show you the background. Okay? In 1978, that means 4 years later, I became the Minister of State for Research and Technology. Because I had a contract with Management Bloom, so I was not allowed just to leave the company. So I had to train somebody to take over from me. So they gave me time. And it seems after 4 years it was done, and then I can go home. President Suharto was re-elected by the People Consultative Assembly in March 1998 for another 5 years. And after this re-election, I was elected as the vice president. Crazy, isn't it? I was working, making airplane. I started with 20 men. Okay? And they want me to enter becoming a member of the cabinet. I say, okay, sir, I will be a member under one condition. I want to continue to make my airplane and my strategic industry. It's okay. You may. They put it in the DPR, the parliament, and they approve. And say, okay, Dr. Habib may do that. But you go into the government, and your duty is to contribute to the economic development and industrialization of Indonesia. So, I have continued. My first airplane flight in December 1986. The second airplane flight, the first turboprop 70-seater fly-by-wire. The second fly-by-wire airplane in the history of aerospace. The first is Airbus, the second is Indonesian. The second is Indonesian, and the third is 777 Boeing. So we went through that. But then, I became vice president. Based on the constitution, the vice president was not allowed, is not allowed to have other job. You have to concentrate to be the vice president. It is also the president is not allowed to have another job. So I have to give the whole company to another team. And I hand over a company of almost 48,000 people with a turnover of over 10 billion US dollars. These are facts, not stories. Making an airplane, helicopter, railway, everything. That is just to introduce you. What's the background of that guy? On Tuesday, the 21st of May 1998, President Suharto resigned, and constitutionally, the vice president had to take over the presidency. Now I have to brief you a little about the mechanism during Suharto leadership, okay? Every 5 years, an election was held in which two political parties, Partai Demokrasi Indonesia, or PDI, Indonesian Democratic Party, Partai Persatuan Pembangunan, PPP, or United Development Party, and one non-political party of the functional group or golongan karya, Golkar. Two political, one non-political. The last election during the 32 years of Suharto period was in May 1997, when the Golkar won more than 60% votes, while voters' turnout was almost 90%. There are 5 factions at the People Consultative Assembly. Majelis Permusyawaratan Rakyat, that is the name of the People Consultative Assembly in Indonesian language. 3 is through election and 2 based on criteria. 3 is through election. Democratic, phase 3, Golkar, they have to go through the election. And 2 through the criteria made by the parliament. The 2 based on criteria made by the MPR decrees and the laws by the parliament. After the election, 3 of the 5 fractions, consisting of Golkar, the functional group, ABRI, the armed forces, plus police, and the utusan daerah and utusan golongan, or provincial and functional groups representatives. They are all non-political. By definition, they could form a faction. So, those 3, that means Golkar, non-political, and the 2, the ABRI, armed forces, is non-political, and the other, that is functional group, representatives and so on, that's also non-political. They make a coalition. They form a congressional coalition that controlled at that time, after the election, 1997, 87% of the seats at the MPR. 87. And over 60% in the parliament. Why is the parliament less? Because in the parliament are only the elected parties, 2 parties and Golkar. The other are only in the People Assembly. When the People Assembly is the one who has to choose the president and choose the vice president. The president and the vice president is not one package. Now it's one package. At that time, not. Sukarno times, also not. There, the seat was controlled by the coalition, 87%. So they have bigger chance to take according to their criteria the best. But in the parliament, it's 60%. The Golkar against the 2 political parties. In March 1990, this congressional party coalition during the last 30 years of the Suharto period was one of the strengths of the government in maintaining a sustainable, equitable distribution of education, work, and income, a sustainable economic growth, and a sustainable political stability. I became the executive chairman of the coalition in 1998 without any vice chairman. Look, the mechanism is this. They make a coalition, 3 factions. Golkar, ABRI, military, and then the functioning group. Each of them provide 2 vice chairmen. So 2, 6. And they elect an executive chairman of that coalition. And that executive chairman play a role in the legislative parliament as well as the People's Assembly. In the first cabinet of Suharto, they first make the coalition after the election and elected 7 people, 6 vice and 1. It is this one with the elected president. This means the executive chairman of the coalition, together with the elected president then, who formed the cabinet. Okay? Now, in the first cabinet of Suharto, it was Suharto with Suharto. He was the chairman of the coalition, and he was the elected president. And his vice chairman from the military are 2 generals. From the functional and the provinces, because the minister of Interior was a general, are also 2 generals. And this Golkar, the chairman, was a general. So the 2 vice are also general. So it is not exaggerating if in the history they say we are dealing with a council of generals. Right? They are pro-contra. You may discuss, but this is a fact. The second cabinet was Suharto with Suharto. The third cabinet, Suharto with Suharto. But then already introduced civilians. The fourth cabinet, Suharto, the elected president, this Panggabean is a general. But then you have in the vice already a combination of generals and civilians. The fifth cabinet is Suharto with Sudarmono, is also general. But then you have the majority already in the vice, that is non-military. And then the sixth was Suharto and Habibie. That was in 1993. But the vice, there's no general. And it happened to be that at that time, in 1990, I founded all Indonesian Muslim intellectuals. And because of that, as I was chosen becoming the one who coordinated, the coalition, then they say in the newspaper, they make the news and say, Hijo Royo Royo. It's all green. The green is the color of Muslims. But it's okay. So, we decided. In 1995, I introduced my new airplane. So I was the leading my airplane. Because I was not a vice president. I was just a minister. No. And because of that, the popularity increased. Okay? The coalition of the three factions, at that time, as I told you, has almost 87% seats in the People Consultative Assembly. And on the 11th of March, when the People Assembly started, the coalition was headed only by one man. It was me. As I became the executive chairman of the coalition in 1998, without any vice chairman, I reminded President Suharto that this was not good, and at least I need one vice chairman should be elected. My suggestion was totally ignored. So I have to live with that. In November 1997, my wife had a very critical open heart and bypass surgery in Germany. I informed President Suharto that after serving continuously for almost 25 years, I was not able nor willing to serve anymore in order to care for my wife and write books. He just listened and said that Indonesia still needed me. In March 1998, separately from the presidential election, the MPR elected me as the vice president, as I told you. Then, amidst a deep financial crisis and large-scale demonstration throughout the archipelago, President Suharto suddenly resigned on the 21st of May 1998. Indonesia was faced with a difficult dilemma. Look, what is the dilemma? Indonesia was constitutionally in the hand of one man. During the most critical period in the history of modern Indonesia, the president was Habibie. The vice president was Habibie. The executive chairman, without any vice chairman of the coalition, controlling 87% of the People Assembly, MPR, and 60% of DPR, was Habibie. And in 53 years, during Sukarno and Suharto's period, the state's attorney general was a member of the cabinet. So the president commands. It is not according to his interest. These are facts. You can imagine this is unhealthy. In the 53 years modern history of Indonesia, such a situation until today, at that time 53 years, had never happened before. Never. Not during the Sukarno period or Suharto period. It was always two. There's one, not even a vice. Now I'll give you some facts before we make the conclusion. From the time that President Suharto informed me of his resignation through State Secretary Dr. Sadila Mursi, 12 hours beforehand until his death, he refused to receive me. I did not get any data or information. Facts. The only direct communication we had was 19 days after his resignation, on his 77th birthday moment. He received my phone call and told me that given the condition and situation of Indonesia to meet the complex multiple crises, it would be best if we did not see each other. He asked me to help and bring Indonesia out of the multidimensional crisis. I told him, Mr. President, Suharto, I need data. I know President Suharto since I was 13 and he was 28. Okay. I told him, I'm an ordinary man, this feeling. I have to see you, I want to know why you resign. Why did you not inform me? And he told me, it's bad, you cannot see me. And I was becoming emotional. And you know what he said? My dear friend, I know that you are a good Muslim. You pray 5 times a day. I'm the same like you. First. Second, I know that you pray also for your parents. I do the same thing, but you should know one. In every prayer, I pray especially for you. May God bless you and lead you. Don't forget it. And please, help Indonesia. You have been there for so long. And you have shown in 1993 how to overcome a lot of problems. But I had to see you. I'm sorry. Cannot. That was his last word. Can you imagine how I feel that? So I think it was fair answer. I have to tell you that. In all big cities in Indonesia, there were continuous demonstrations on the street, and all the media were against the president and the ruling government. I received all the reports from the national intelligence back in. All. Because law of change. The intelligence of the army, navy, air force, police, parliament, the People's Consultative Assembly, interior minister, and foreign minister. All have to read. None of these reports match. And the result was chaotic. Garbage in, garbage out. The result was chaotic. How could I verify the quality of the report? Who was to be trusted? I had no input or data from President Suharto or his son, nothing. You know how I solved it? I have to check myself, but who is going to help me? The people who demonstrate. How? Open the door. You may demonstrate, you have the freedom to write. Open the door for the press. So I get all my report coming in. And I can check. Because I have to sort. I have to avoid that garbage come in and garbage come out. I have to filter them. The best is filter. Don't tell them, otherwise they are going to what do you call that? Manipulate. Let them. But tell them you mean for everything. Just watch. I didn't sleep. I couldn't. The situation became worse hourly and unpredictable. The free fall of the Indonesian currency, rupiah, started. Inflation was over 70% and interest rate even higher. Foreign currency reserve became minus and many banks started to collapse, leading to instability and uncertainty. Large-scale unemployment and growing hardship as people's basic needs could not be guaranteed eroded public confidence in the president and the whole political system. this sign of a revolution brewing, people predicted that Habibi would not survive more than 100 hours, and later corrected to not more than 100 days. I had one thing only in mind. I should not make or let a revolution happen. Because if that happened, the biggest victim are innocent people who had nothing to do. And I don't want to have blood in my hand. That's first. Second, I have to prevent that Indonesia will not be, what do you call it, cut into pieces, like happened in Russia, like happened in Yugoslavia, and many countries. I have to keep that in mind. That was my commitment. Take a note. High quality, objective input was needed to make both fast and high quality decisions. Given my technical background, I was able to analyze the situation comprehensively and in a systematic and objective manner, and rapidly introduce several major reform measures. These were among the major decisions I adopted immediately after assuming the presidency. So I mean, these are the principles. First, avoid and eliminate existing constraints. Introduce a predictable and reliable fast relaxation process. I can give a lecture one semester about the relaxation process. It's long, but I think you know what it means. If you make constraints, okay, all kind of constraints cost something, whether money, etc., whatever. But if you make no constraint, too relaxed, and no boundary, it costs something. Can you agree? What you have to do? If you have to, not to do this, not to do this, but to control. So, I'm an engineer by education and profession and by hobby. An engineer if you are going to face a problem, you try to describe the problem through equation, mathematical equation. It could be very complex, mostly difference, partial difference equation, non-linear, and all those things. And if you want to solve a group of partial difference equation, first you try to find the solution which is valid for the whole equation, okay? But it is not identical with the problem you have. You need to consider the boundary condition. The equation is fulfilling the whole bundle of equations and the boundary. That might be the solution. And aesthetically, if depending on time, then you have to add the time. So, what I was facing is more difficult than making an airplane. Because you are dealing airplane, that is material. But here, you are dealing with people. But I have introduced something. Maybe it's interesting for you. You know, an airplane lives from vortex. You know vortex? If an airplane moves, then the vortex, like this, okay, above the wing, it accelerates the velocity. And under the wing, it decelerates. The energy is always the same. The energy cannot disappear like that. It can only change its form from a kinetic energy into the potential energy, and in heat, temperature, or in noise. Okay? So, I want to show. This vortex is important. I create above the wing a higher kinetic energy on the expenses of potential. The pressure goes down. Under the wing, I create less kinetic energy, and the pressure goes up. So I get a lift. I want to show you that any vortex resulted force. And a dynamic force. The vortex is like this. If you have wind length, the wind length is designed so that the vortex, this come out from the wing, will disappear elegantly without losing energy. Otherwise, you have to pay that energy. Now, I introduce a new vortex. Mankind, man, we are used to receive order top down from the president, from your boss, independent of your system. Top down, from the king, from the queen, from the dictator, from the democratic society, but you elected a leader from them, etc. From your boss in your office. That's the mentality, top down. Suddenly what happened, like in Indonesia and also in the Middle East, you create bottom up. From a society who are not used to have bottom up. What else? Look at it. Top down, bottom up. Top down, you create an unpredictable social force. And this gave dynamic force. You have to control that. That was my model facing Indonesia at that time. See? I'm sure you know that the man is crazy. But for me, I have to solve my problem. Do you see that the man is crazy? He's talking about, he's a real engineer talking about airplane, and he said, we are not airplane people. But I need a model. I get input. I have to systematize that. And I make changes. I can only make progress if I dare to make changes. I was not interested in being the president. No. I was not interested to have the power. No. Then I was the president and get the power. These are the means, like a surgeon get them to make operations. I was interested to solve the problem. Only that. Full stop. So, if you are interested, we can talk deeper about the social vortex. And have research work about that. Oh, yeah. You will be astonished. You will be surprised what come out. So, first, avoid and eliminate existing constraints, introduce a predictable and reliable fast relaxation process. Allow only the commander-in-chief of the armed forces and police to directly meet me, while others must join him to give reports. Give the freedom to demonstrate, speak, and report, or given the freedom of press and expression. give freedom to all political prisoners except those who are against the constitution or have killed the people. The jails is only for criminals and not for those who has other opinions than the power. As simple as that. By doing that, I was watching the politics. For example, they came out from the prison. The first thing what they are doing, they demonstrate against me. The military came, hey, sir, you make a mistake. They will kill you. I don't care. Because I believe in God. Only one knows when I'm going to die, and that's God. And not you or the others. I'm not afraid. But my attitude is to solve the problem, to prevent more people suffering. So, and give freedom to all political prisoners, except those who are against the constitution. Give autonomy to the provinces. Why? I have seen with my own eyes. There are provinces who have a big contribution to our GDP because they are rich, they have oil, gas. But the people coming in from other provinces, they make that, they work. And statistically, the reality, the people who stay there, they're very poor. They have nothing. I think we have to stop. I have protested several times to the president, and he always say, hey, you take care about your technology. That's my deal. It's okay. That's the reason why I say, now it's the time. Do it. Allow anybody to establish political party that accept the constitution and fulfill all criteria for acceptance to become a political party. Before not, just like the press. I was asking Suharto, why do you give only two? We had during Sukarno time so many parties, and the result is chaos. Well, almost a revolution. And now, I limited to two. Why two? Why not three? One concentrate in the life today, and the other concentrate in the life after that. That's not true. It's not difficult. Change Golkar into a political party and dissolve the ruling coalition. I dissolved the ruling coalition. Even I was the one who owned the 87. I dissolved it. Solve the East Timor problem in conformity of the Constitution. I solved it. Be inclusive, not exclusive, and care for 100% of the interests of the people, including those who are not represented in the MPR and have not participated in the election. The problem we have today in the Middle East as well as in Russia, they are all exclusive. Like in Egypt, for example, I'm sorry, he was elected, but I'm not sure that he has 87%, but maybe 60%, whatever. But he was only interested in his party. In my case, I had 87%. The first thing what I have done is say, hey, I go out, I dissolve the whole thing, and make a new election. And not only that, I'm not, they ask me, why do you have 87%? No, I don't want to be responsible in making changes only to the 87%. I want to be responsible to everybody, including those who was not in the election, because they have the same right. Yeah, this is different philosophy, different attitude. Announce a new cabinet within 24 hours. Too long, huh? So, it is still two pages.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay? So, announce a new cabinet within 24 hours. On Friday, the 22nd of March, 11 o'clock in the morning, in the same place and at the same time at the Merdeka Palace, where 24 hours earlier, President Suharto had announced his resignation. The new cabinet, the Reform Development Cabinet, was introduced by me 24 hours after. In between, there's many problems. For the first time in the history of the Republic of Indonesia, this is very important. For the first time in the history of the Republic of Indonesia, the government of the central bank and the state attorney general were not included in the newly formed cabinet. I could include them. I said, no. People come to see me, protesting. It's wrong what you are doing. Why? It's against the Constitution. Because the Constitution, right, that the president has to make economic development. And for that, he will be assisted by the Bank of Indonesia, the central bank. Because the chief of the central bank is the governor of the bank, so the governor of the bank is the assistant of the president. Because that's the member of the cabinet. That's what the logic. Who protested and came to see me, they are professors. They have their experience. I said, hey, that's your logic. My logic is different. My logic is interpretation. The governor of the Bank of Indonesia has to help the president. In helping the president, he must be objective. He must do his work professional in such a way that the quality of money which I need to make my economic development is guaranteed. For that, he is not allowed to be responsible to me. I only insist to have a good quality of money. And what I'm going to do is the money that I'm responsible for to the parliament and the people who elect me. That's my logic. But you are against the law, then I'm going to change the law. You know how many laws? You know how many laws I made? I was 517 days as the president. I made every day, including Sunday, 1.3 new laws. Laws including presidential decree, government, all together, 1.3. So, 1.3 times 560, 70, then you get the number. You can have a research book. You can go into the detail what I've done. After me, they have to try to change what is basic law. Cannot. Because nobody had more than 50%. And I had at that time 87. I could make it. And I had no vice. And nobody to consult. I have only to consult one, who is my teacher. You know who my teacher is? My brain. My brain is my loyal teacher. And my conscience, my moral. All the values. So, then for the first time, they were not there. The bank said, please, you may consult me. But you have to do your job. if you want more information, you should read my book. I've written 2 books myself. One is called The Decisive Moment. The Yaman Nutuka in the Indonesian language was the bestseller in Indonesia and being translated in English. The English translation is ada terjemahan imam sini saya perlihatkan. Imam mana? This is a book. I can show you. I wrote one. And that is Decisive Moment. I've written that. Suharto was still alive. And he was the first who got it before it was printed. I wrote it. My dear President. Yeah. It's being translated in Chinese, Mandarin, by the Chinese themselves. And this book, before it was published, I sent it to her. It was still had. Said, dear President, this is my accountability to the people of Indonesia who you love and I love. Please read. If there's something wrong, let me know. Give him time, he has read it, nothing. So it was published. There's also about Prabhu, whatever, it's inside. And in this case, you know, that is the background. Because I'm like you. My roots are science. Okay? We are the same. Only you are a different discipline. You are more difficult than mine. Oh, yeah, okay, because you are dealing with people. People is more difficult than speaking an airplane. Really. So I'm aware of that. I want to tell you, if you have time, you should read that. Maybe I give it to you. And another book is, mana buku yang satu itu? Ada tiga saya buku. Cuma yang satu dulu yang merah. So, jangan buka saya kopi. So, ya, dulu.
We'll make sure to link to it on the website as well.
No. This is the original one. This is Indonesian. This was the best one. And this is translated in English. Also in German.
Wow.
From a German colleague, friend. It's in German, this is there. This is an introduction of Helmut Schmidt. He read it, and a recommendation from him. It's in German. German, Chinese, and English. And then this book is not written by me. It is by Professor D. Fortuna and Professor Bridget Wells, and this on size. There are articles about my time of 15 scholars from the United States, from Europe, Australia, Japan, Indonesia. You should read them. This one.
Go to the Asia.
Huh?
We can go to Bermuda.
This. You sit back there. So, I'm good there. Now you think.
Oh, is that it? Have you ended, or are you still good?
No, if you let me talk, I
Listen to you for hours. However, there is people. I want to leave some time for questions.
Yes,
So-
yes, that's right.
So-
I can make, where is Indonesia going? How will the future be? Maybe I should read that. Okay?
Well, we'll have some time for questions. If we can, maybe if you can just wrap up, and then we'll have questions from the audience.
I listen to the question, or you want to listen to my summary? Yeah, okay. Where is Indonesia going? How will the future be? The values of the Pancasila and Constitution must be developed further, adjusted to the progress of globalization and achievement in science and technology. That's first. Second is, the quality of information must be immediately updated and speedily. Third, human resources development must get the highest priority by using state-of-the-art education and upbringing system, smart network, and internet. Four, unemployment must be as low as possible, less than 3%, by giving priority to domestic products with minimum 70% value added, local content. And I don't care whether it is 100% by a foreigner, it's okay. I don't care either whether it is 100% owned by a foreigner and an atheist. I don't care either. As long as he pays the tax and he's not against the rule and create jobs. And I don't care if, let's say, because of the product and the price, it is better to import some up until 30 or 40, 60%, whatever, to the best of the price and the market oriented. I don't care. But I need to work to avoid a revolution. Only through the work I can guarantee the equity distribution of wealth, of chance, etc., etc. So, the middle class needs to become larger and stronger and play an important role in the cultural resilience, quality of human resources, and in economic growth in Indonesia. You see, today with the technology in any home of anybody in the world, including United States or Indonesia, information comes in from regions, it might be from people, it might be not compatible to your culture and spoil the upbringing of the human resources you prepare. Indonesia has to become an important element in the bridge between ASEAN and the United States and ASEAN and Europe. So, I make that. I can make more, but these are the 6 points which I think it's worthwhile to discuss with you, or you can have other questions. I'm ready to answer.
All right.
This is the last book I have to show you.
So we have until 7:20 for questions, and I see a lot of hands up already. I'm going to abuse my position as the master of ceremonies to ask a question and to model what your question should look like, which should be extremely short and brief. So my question is a very brief one. You were President Habibie, you were the vice president, but you were not from the military. The military was the first among equals in Indonesian politics. Did they make any trouble for you when you became the president? And I'm thinking in Egypt, where they did make trouble for the president. Why didn't they make trouble for you?
Because they were not united. The army had at least 3 or 4 groups. The navy also. They have all their own interests. Everybody wants to be the president. They are busy. And everybody wait until that scientist collapse. Because
Unity among the officers.
what?
Lack of unity among the officers.
No unity.
So you, sir.
Yes. David Kuntal from Indonesia. I have 2 questions. First, for the next 5 to 10 years, in your opinion, who is the best to lead Indonesia as a president?
Good question. That's it. One question for everybody. Yes.
No, that is a second question,
No,
please.
there are no 2 questions. One question.
One this, I think this important.
I know. I'm sure it is. But let's just. You can ask it if we exhaust our questions.
I will ask later after this. I hope you have time. Thank you.
First of all, the best is just good enough to lead Indonesia.
military or civil?
I don't care. I don't care. We should not care whether he's military or civilian. We should only care whether he's able or not. And how to do that. You should look at his track record. Historical record. Okay? Historical record. I think it's enough. Yeah, find out. And now, what happened in Indonesia? There are two styles. One is Jokowi based. Jika, Yusuf Kala, and the other is Prabowo with Hatta. Yusuf Kala and Hatta are technocrats like you and me. It's okay. And they are one package. You understand? It's redundant. Feel safe. And in this case, you see that Yusuf Kala as well as Hatta, whoever will win, they are people like you, and the system is they are supported by people like you and me. But these two, they are popular. The other with money, the other with, I don't know. But that is the fact. And don't be afraid. We have a constitution. Because of that, I told all the people, whoever will be elected, and we are going to support. If we elect one, whoever, and it is fair, it's coming from the people, then we all have to support him to make the program. That is our commitment. Okay? And you should be like that. If we keep that, we are what you call that, pluralistic society. And it's okay with us. We live in it. United States is a pluralistic society. Germany become a pluralistic society. They are already 1/3 in Germany. You know, before people who come to Germany, they get a visa because they are a political, what do you call it? Ya, yang tidak bisa tinggal di negaranya karena masalah politik. Exile, because they got political exile. No, not only. That is because they are coming from other European countries. Most of them are very bright young people. They look for a job, they can come. And that is one of the reasons, that element that make Germany stronger. The productivity increase. The ability to create access increase. That's the reason. It's also here, the United States was always like that. So, I think we should be in Indonesia, you know, we should learn from whoever. And please, I make my remark already. What's the next question?
Okay, we have, do you have your hand up now? Yes, please go.
I grew up playing Javanese gamelan, and I have this idea that Islam in Indonesia was different from Islam in the Middle East. Islam, Java, and could you comment on, I don't think it's on the difference between...
No, I can comment.
No.
Started with this. A Catholic or a Protestant, a Christian in Indonesia, and a Christian in Italy or in Brazil are different. It's the same case with religion Islam. The Islam in the Middle East or in Asia or wherever, the culture definition of culture. The culture started 200,000 years ago, as the Homo sapiens was there, before it was Homo erectus. The Homo sapiens is a different system of the brain. Your brain and my brain is the same. If I cut here, it has the same system, same model. As that model started, 200,000 years, mankind started to see. There's a lot of questions. There are things, science and technology started, cultures, even religion started. But the religion we have today is not older than 5,000 years. That is from the Middle East, the Abrahamic root, or from India, or from China. They're not more than 5,000 who survive until today. The Greek doesn't survive. The Pharaoh doesn't survive. The Islam has the same root as the Christian and the Jew. You cannot say that since Jesus Christ is a Jew, if you want to know the Christian culture and behavior and philosophy, you have to study the Jews. It's not true. Most of the Christian analysis philosophy was done in Europe. So, I was grown up in Europe. I have friends. It's German, Dutch, French, or even from Israel. And of course, from here I go to Mecca and make my umrah. You know, my name is Bakharuddin Yusuf Habibi. It's all Arabs, but I'm not an Arab. I read the Al-Quran every day. You see? But I try to understand. I use my guru. Who is my guru? My brain. And all the others is my assistant of my guru. See? So, I think I made a remark yesterday and in many meetings. We have learned so much from all the wars we had in the past. Hundreds of years, thousands of years, all of them bring nothing. I believe that we should cooperate and work together, learn from each other, to make the world a waiting place for the heaven and not for the hell. And for that, you need to communicate with each other. You have to throw out all the prejudice. We have to be friends. I have many friends in Germany. I know them more than 50 years. I came to Germany, I was 18. And as I was in the gymnasium, you know, in the high school in Indonesia, the Islamic school was in bad shape. I went to the Christian school in Dutch. Ik spreek Nederlands. I speak Dutch fluently. Just like German or English, or a little bit French. It's all Europe. You see, but language is just a medium to get the data and the system in your guru, in your brain. So because of that, you know, I did not make any difference. The problem in the world of today is the problem of values. And the values that is rooted in love. And love is not a biological love. Love to the peoples surrounding you. Love to the work of the people. Love to the environment where you live. Love to your job. And if you're a religious, love to God. If you are an atheist, then you say love to science, technology, and the evolution. Come on. These are the roots. And it's being distorted. That we have to correct. And how to do that? So given information. I think nobody, before having given me the opportunity to speak and to talk and to say what I mean, I think you did not have any idea what kind of man is that. Even after that, you still may ask what kind of animal is that. You see? But I'm sure that within a short time, we have learned a lot. From your question, I learned also. So, I think in this case, for me, we have in the Gamelan, I have a friend, his name is Suhartoyo. Maybe some of them knows. Suhartoyo is a Catholic. Okay. He's passed away already, he's my age. He was a good dalang who plays the wire. He's Catholic. Who plays the gamelan? Some are Muslims, some are Christians, some are Hindu, but they all share the same culture. Because the religion there is just 5,000 years, and the culture, 200,000 years. And among them, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times as the religion coming. So, it is dominant. That's why it is very important for anybody in the world to maintain his culture and respect other men's culture. And that is what I mean with cultural resilience. Okay?
Time for 2 more questions. So you had your hand up, and then we'll go to you. You, sir.
Thanks very much. My name is Ben Olkin. I'm a professor at MIT, and I lived in Indonesia during the transition period. So I'm very interested in hearing your talk. I guess I wanted to follow up on the previous question, which is the parliament that was in place when you took over was elected and constituted under the Suharto government. And yet, a lot of the reforms that you were asking them to do were, were how did you get them to go along with a lot of the reforms that you proposed, and what was the resistance that you had from the parliamentary side? They weren't necessarily reform-minded people when they were elected, but yet they passed sort of an incredible set of reforms and democratizations under your leadership. How did that happen?
Look, I heritage from Mrs. Suharto of Parliament and the people assemble people. And the fact, as I told you, that's why it's very important to give you to brief you, to give you the data, what I've given. So those people, they used to live 53 years, 21 years under Sukarno, and 32 years under Suharto, where the president become so powerful, is considered almost like a god. And Suharto got out, the king. For example, I'll give you an example. He stepped down on Thursday. Friday, I announced my cabinet. I say, all prisoners out. Friday, starting Friday afternoon, all one by one goes out. And they demonstrate against me. Saturday, I swore in the new cabinet. Saturday evening, I received Amy Sari, Boyong Nasutra, Nur Khalis Majid, Sujono Sabi, and Amin Rai. All those guys, they are still alive. come to see me and told me, I have to make, they ask a lot of things. And one is, they insist that as soon as possible, I have to make an election. And not longer than 3 months. I said, no. Oh, they protested. I said, no. I decided. They were mad. The reason, you know why? If I make that what they want, the winner will be Habibi. There will no new party. Nobody knows about Amin Price or the other. The party was not even there. It's unfair. What I want is not to be the winner. What I want is the winner should be the people of Indonesia. And the power should be given back to the people. That was in my whole attitude. I was not interested. So, because of that, they protested and said no. They have to accept it. They went out. Maybe outside they were mad. I don't care. But look, if I have followed them, it is against the constitution. Because we just had a sidang umum MPR, the People Assembly, where there they make the decision of the assembly. They elect the president, they elect the vice president, they make the guidelines of the next 5 years, and they make also a decision that the next election will be 2003. If I do that, oh God, I started to trigger the beginning of this solving Indonesia into pieces. I said, no. What have I done? I make a special people assembly. The special people assembly changed. That not 2003, but next year, May will be the election. All based on the constitution, all based on the law. I have to show that is democracy. Democracy doesn't mean you may do everything what you want. No, that is crazy. Not democracy, democracy. Ah. According to the law, I have received people coming, making a lot of noise. They say, the constitution is so bad, and so on, and so on, and you are, you don't know everything, you are expert. I was listening. So, he said, I want your opinion. Well, I'm sure you're the best. So, but we have a law how to change the constitution. Why did you mention that law? If you find out that's the best for the country, so what? Then we do. But you cannot make him protest. Do you think I'm afraid? No. Can we consist? So I want to tell you, in this case, now they are happy. Before this, told me, oh, Habibi has sold Timor. So, they were all against. I just asked, hey, we have made proclamation, the independence of Indonesia, for the former colony of the Netherlands. It was not included with Timor, it was Portugal. First. Second, in our constitution, it's written implicitly and explicitly that we will not tolerate that other society being colonized by others. We will always for the people. So you are already acting true against the constitution. And this is not me. What I have done is just let them decide what they want, and then afterward I give it to the new elected people assembly with the new party and tell them, hey, this is the input. Now you decide. You are the one who has decided to get it in. And they decided, oh, according to me. I just have done my job.
Wow.
See. But you know the reason? The reason, the rule is human right. Constitution. It's not just to make like that, oh, I want to do no. And look, as I have tell them, no, I'm going to meet next year. And I change the law. The existing, this new one, that make it possible next year. But do you think that I have to wait until next year to allow them to meet party? No, I make a decision, presidential decree, make party, whoever. When? Today. The protesters against me, okay, you mean. But now I'm the president. Please do. And then they have the time. They consolidate, etc. Megawati was with PDE. Then they were not compatible to each other. She made a new one, PDE Perjuangan. So what? It's okay. After the election, 600 party comes in. 600 party. And then they come to see me. The electoral, say, Mr. President, you decided this guy be in the. No, I decided the principle, the system. First, none of the government officials is allowed to be a member of those teams who will decide who will win or not. None of political parties must be people who are, what do you call it, of course independent, objective, but has a special place in the society. And, no, tokoh apa tuh? Special figure, public figure in the Indonesian society. So you make it. But sir, if you do that, you will lose. I'm not interested to win. I'm interested that the people win. It's your attitude. I could come out of, I have 87%. I can do what I want. I make the laws in such a way to maintain my power, etc. And to go to my friends and give them everything. No. That's the beginning of the end. Okay, enough I think.
We have time for one more question. You, sir, in the back have been waiting very patiently. This will be our final question.
I'm from West Papua, and I would like to say thank you for the dialogue process that you did in 1999. I was an organizer, and right after the meetings, I was blacklisted by the silent. So my question for you is that the dialogue process that you already started with Timor Aceh solved. West Papua is still a problem. Would you propose to whoever elected president to solve the issue through dialogue, or what you would suggest?
First of all, you have to make the difference between Aceh, Papua, or any provinces in Indonesia with East Timor. I have told you, East Timor was never a part of Indonesia. but Aceh, Papua, or Java, or East Java, or West Java, or Bali. If somebody of them try to want to make a dialogue with whoever about the future of Indonesia and how we should go and so on, oh, by all means, you're welcome. But if the attitude is to separate from it, then I face cannot. But it's against the constitution. You cannot do that. The United Nations will never do that. It will never allow that to happen. If they do that, oh, suddenly Byron will come out from Germany. Suddenly say, oh, we are rich here from one of the state of United States. Oh, we go out. You dissolve everything. Cannot. So, my answer is very clear. The dialogue with East Timor has a clear result. We are happy and we are happy. We are good neighbors and we are friends. Okay? The dialogue with whoever in Indonesia, we will do it with all our heart and because if we make a dialogue to confidence to the future of the whole nation, to what you call to improve the quality of life, the quality of democracy, and so on. That's okay. But to make a dialogue that we want to be free from the law. If somebody there to do that, even I know 78 and pension, I will stand up and face it. That's not possible. Okay?
All right.
What?
Please, everybody, join me in thanking President